Rain pounded relentlessly against the reinforced steel doors of the underground vault, each drop echoing like a drumbeat in the subterranean darkness. At precisely 3 a.m., the hidden facility on Geneva's outskirts, known only to a select few as the Occultum Archive, hummed with the low thrum of security systems. This clandestine repository, unmarked on any official map, housed the world's most dangerous occult manuscripts, texts. The Vatican, Tsarist Russia, and countless governments had long deemed too volatile for public eyes. Tonight, however, protocol would falter. A solitary figure, clad in charcoal black from head to toe, emerged from the shadows. His gloved hands expertly disabled motion sensors and looped camera feeds, while a small jammer muted the facility's alarms. He moved with the silent precision of a cat, weaving between vault corridors until he stood before his prize. A single, imposing tome bound in gilt-edged leather, its title faintly embossed on the cover, Prophecies of the Hidden Epoch. Blavatsky. Inside that volume lay passages Helena Blavatsky herself had sworn to keep concealed. Renowned across 19th-century Europe and Russia as the mother of modern theosophy, Blavatsky had unsettled emperors and cardinals alike. With her revolutionary insights into spiritual evolution and cosmic design, yet her most explosive verses, those foretelling a revelation in the year 2025, had vanished from every public archive, removed under orders from shadowy councils, convinced they threatened the established order. As the intruder slipped the manuscript into his pack, a memory flickered through his mind. The whispered conversations among high-level officials, the clandestine meetings where the book's mere mention inspired fear, the scorched ruins of private libraries in India and Russia that once held its pages. Governments had burned copies, arrested scholars, even blacklisted entire academic fields rather than risk its full disclosure. He paused at the vault's threshold, fingertips grazing the cover. What secrets did Blavatsky's final chapter contain? Historical rumors spoke of a cosmic signal destined to shatter humanity's grip on reality, an event so cataclysmic that left unchecked, it would upend financial markets, dismantle political hierarchies, and ignite a collective awakening. Slipping into the rain-soaked night, the man knew he bore the weight of a world teetering on the brink. If the prophecy proved true, the forces arrayed against him would stop at nothing to reclaim or destroy that book. And if it proved false, he risked unleashing panic and chaos among any who believed its warning. Behind him, deep beneath layers of concrete and steel, the Occultum Archive's alarms finally roared to life, too late to halt the heist, but on time to signal the opening salvo of a global hunt. Somewhere in the drenched streets of Geneva, the stolen volume would find its next custodian, a journalist, a researcher, or perhaps an anonymous network dedicated to unveiling hidden truths. And all the while, the question loomed larger than ever: what exactly did Blavatsky predict for 2025? And why had the world's most powerful institutions conspired so ruthlessly to bury it? As thunder rolled across the sky, the answer lay waiting in the gilt-edged pages of a forbidden prophecy, and soon everyone would want to read it. Rain-swept streets in Calcutta bore witness to the smouldering remains of Helena Blavatsky's private library one autumn night in 1890. Flames licked the edges of leather-bound tomes, their contents remarkable manuscripts on ancient wisdom turning to ash. Among the charred ruins lay fragments of her magnum opus, notes in her own hand about the gate opening in 2025. The moment when the truth can no longer be hidden. Those pages vanished from history that night, swallowed by fire. The unseen hands that orchestrated the blaze. Blavatsky had already stirred the world with ISIS. Unveiled, and The Secret Doctrine. Publications that challenged orthodox religion and introduced esoteric teachings to a curious Western audience. These works drew the ire of Tsarist secret police, who trailed her every move after whispered rumors reached St. Petersburg. The Vatican's inquisitors, alarmed by her comparisons of Christian dogma to Hindu and Buddhist law, quietly flagged her books as heretical, and by the mid-20th century, MI6 operatives monitored Theosophical Society meetings, wary that her ideas might inspire social upheaval. In 1890, the extent of official hostility was laid bare by a leaked telegram exchanged between the Vatican and the Kremlin. In coded language, cardinals and Tsarist ministers agreed on a chilling strategy. All transgressive manuscripts must be destroyed. Special focus on any prophecies detailing the ascent or collapse of empires. Their directive was precise. Number copy of Blavatsky's more radical texts, especially those predicting seismic shifts in global power, could be permitted to endure. This clandestine covenant marks the transition from theological dispute to a coordinated campaign of intellectual suppression. The fire in Calcutta wasn't accidental. Witnesses spoke of uniformed men removing crates from the library under cover of night, crates later jolted open by arsonists. Rumors swirled that agents of the Tsar and emissaries of the Vatican collaborated in the operation. Some even pointed fingers at British intelligence, keen to maintain the empire's unchallenged dominion. After the flames died, an eerie silence fell over theosophical circles. Scholars who dared champion Blavatsky's censored ideas found themselves discredited, unemployed, or worse, imprisoned without charge. One professor, who had lectured on her notion of a coming fifth root race, disappeared en route to London. Another, who had preserved a fragment of the incinerated draft, was released from jail only after renouncing his studies on record. Yet, as each voice was silenced, another seemed to take its place. Whispered accounts passed in secret gatherings, manuscripts copied by sympathetic hands before disappearing into hidden vaults. It was as if, the more the powers that be sought to obliterate her legacy, the more indelible it became. What did Blavatsky discover in those lost pages that provoked such ferocity? Was it mere spiritual allegory, or a genuine roadmap to a future that threatened the very bedrock of empire and church? And if the gate truly is set to open in 2025, are we, too, destined to witness the uncontainable revelation she foresaw centuries ago? Was her knowledge simply too perilous to survive the flames, and will it now emerge at a moment no one can suppress? Fragments of the stolen Geneva manuscript have begun to flicker through the dark web's hidden alleys, and with them, 3 of Helena Blavatsky's most incendiary prophecies demand attention. Known collectively as the Blavatsky Codex, these recovered pages expose visions so potent that any hint of their content has previously been met with censorship, sabotage, or outright destruction. 1. The Awakening of the Hidden Council. Blavatsky writes of an underground conclave rooted in the mythic land of Lemurian, ancestral lost continent predating even Atlantis. According to the Codex, this hidden council has stealthily threaded itself through the corridors of power for millennia. Over successive age-long cycles, its members have allegedly manipulated economic crashes, political upheavals, and technological breakthroughs to prime humanity for what she calls the transformative phase of 2025. In her chilling account, governments and corporations are unwitting marionettes, dancing to puppet master directives that few even suspect exist. 2. The Fifth Root Race. One of Blavatsky's most controversial notions, the evolution of a fifth root race, posits that our current human iteration is not the apex of spiritual or biological advancement. She foretells a coming cascade of ecological disasters, social collapse, and collective awakening that will pave the way for a new race of beings capable of perceiving dimensions and energies beyond our present senses. What's more, she hints that this metamorphosis has already begun. Pockets of individuals are spontaneously exhibiting heightened intuition, telepathic glimpses, or sudden empathic abilities. To the entrenched powers, such emergent, gifted individuals threaten the status quo, since their very existence suggests a path away from materialist controls toward an interconnected consciousness. 3. The celestial summons of 2025, perhaps the most haunting, is Blavatsky's prediction of a cosmic Bicona, celestial summons, arriving in 2025. She describes it not as a comet or an asteroid, but as a broadcast, a resonance echoing through the fabric of space-time, designed to pierce humanity's collective consciousness. When this signal arrives, millions will simultaneously perceive the artificial boundaries of their reality collapsing. Governments, furious at the prospect of losing their narrative authority, have reportedly equipped Black Ops space programs and secret observatories to intercept or muzzle any trace of this phenomenon. Their fear, once the illusion unravels, centralized control will evaporate overnight, taken at face value. These prophecies read like the plot of a science fiction thriller. Yet their eerie resonance with modern anxieties is impossible to ignore. We see media conglomerates suppressing whistleblowers, AI research hurtling ahead with little oversight, and clandestine space projects, both governmental and private, operating outside public scrutiny. Each of these real-world currents seems to mirror a fragment of Blavatsky's foresight. Are these visions literal blueprints for future events, or allegorical warnings cloaked in mystical language? Does the hidden council truly exist, pulling strings from the shadows? Is humanity on the brink of an evolutionary leap that we can neither fully grasp nor control? And when the celestial summons finally rings out, will we recognize it for what it is, or dismiss it as another conspiracy theory? With the codex now circulating among underground networks, the coming months will test which narrative proves truer, the one spun by entrenched authorities, or the one whispered by a 19th century mystic whose most forbidden prophecies refused to remain buried. Rain hadn't stopped since dawn when the first headlines hit the web. CIA email leak exposes Blavatsky protocols. By midday, tech blogs were dissecting the revelation that a classified document, long whispered about among conspiracy circles, now sat in plain sight. The Blavatsky protocols, the dossier, rumored to catalogue Helena Blavatsky's most explosive spiritual insights, were real. And they were terrifying enough to merit a top-secret stamp. Buried in the email chain was a chilling directive: all Epoch 2025 codes must be neutralized across digital platforms. Any individual or group exploiting them must be placed under surveillance. In other words, any mention of Blavatsky's forbidden prophecy for 2025 was officially deemed a threat to national security. Overnight, threads on social media vanished. Videos linking the Theosophist's teachings to modern tech and politics were scrubbed. Decryption tools used to analyze the leaked document were quietly deplatformed. It was a digital purge on a global scale. Independent researchers from São Paulo to Berlin to Seoul became the next targets. In Brazil, a university professor who published a paper mapping Blavatsky's predicted hidden council onto current world powers found his online accounts mysteriously deleted and his personal devices rife with spam. In Germany, A documentary filmmaker exploring the Fifth Root race vanished from public view after his YouTube channel was terminated without explanation. In South Korea, emails sent to journalists outlining the cosmic signal forecast for 2025 were blocked at the server level, each attempt returning a cold message undeliverable. An anonymous former NSA operative contacted via an encrypted messenger offered some clarity. They're not afraid of the prophecy itself, they're afraid of collective belief. Once millions agree the truth is being suppressed, the current order collapses. Pause on that phrase, collective belief. It isn't the idea of a cosmic summons or a hidden council that truly unnerves governments. It's the power that comes from a united populace who, having seen the truth, refuse to accept the official narrative. History is littered with examples of regimes toppling after information leaks shattered the social contract. And here, in the digital age, a single tweet or video can ignite a global awakening. So, the powers that be have chosen preemptive silence and all-out effort to drown the prophecy before it can echo through the masses. Firewall walls rise around keywords. Algorithms detect and erase dissenting content. Hackers, officially sanctioned or not, infiltrate private communications. Even scholarly conferences can be shut down under public safety pretexts. Which is more frightening? The notion that a 19th-century mystic foresaw a revelation potent enough to destabilize 21st-century society, or the lengths to which today's institutions will go to ensure her words remain buried. When digital footprints disappear and voices are muted, it becomes startlingly clear that the most dangerous thing isn't the prophecy itself, but the fear it instills in those who want to control our collective perception of reality. As you read this, consider how vulnerable information truly isn't. Ask yourself, if Helena Blavatsky's words about 2025 are out there, who will you trust to tell you the whole story? Imagine the date is December 12, 2025, somewhere deep in the Milky Way. A faint but unmistakable signal pulses across the void, an encoded broadcast, so precise it could only be engineered by an intelligence attuned to cosmic frequencies. Back on Earth, an urgent cable reaches every major observatory. Do not disclose. The world's top astronomers are ordered into enforced silence, their instruments shuttered, their findings classified under the strictest confidentiality. Yet, in the shadows of cyberspace, a clandestine collective of spiritual hackers has been waiting, using advanced decryption algorithms and esoteric code-breaking techniques taught by underground theosophical circles. They pieced together the final fragments of a lost manuscript. When the last cipher clicks into place, they upload the result to a dozen secure file-sharing sites. Blavatsky's ultimate revelation. Across every server, the document's opening line flashes in stark relief. 2025 is the moment of awakening, when humanity must choose between intellectual freedom or remaining entrapped in illusions crafted by those they once revered. Within minutes, the phrase ignites a wildfire of conversation. On Twitter, #BLAVATSKY revealed trends in every time zone. Influencers post screenshots, podcasters host midnight marathons, encrypted messaging apps buzz with forwarded snippets. Clips of the manuscript's most provocative passages ricochet between devices, creating a digital echo chamber that no government firewall can contain. Panic grips the halls of power. National security councils convene emergency sessions, debating whether to enforce total internet blackouts or deploy cyberops to discredit the hackers. In some countries, entire borders go dark. ISPs are ordered to pull the plug, and mobile networks fall silent. But wherever the internet breathes, The prophecy lives on. At university campuses, student journalists compile annotated editions of the revelation. In coffee shops, baristas and patrons debate whether hidden councils truly direct global events. Late-night talk shows dedicate entire episodes to analyzing Blavatsky's century-old visions in light of AI breakthroughs and climate crises. Even mainstream media can't ignore the storm. Anchors read aloud the hacker collective's solemn injunction for intellectual freedom, their faces betraying both fascination and fear. Yet, amid the chaos, a quieter movement stirs. Independent scholars and spiritual seekers begin hosting virtual salon safe spaces where anyone can discuss the revelation without surveillance. Philosophers dissect the moral stakes. Is freedom of thought more precious than social stability? Technologists explore the ethics of information control, and the general public, for the first time in decades, confronts the possibility that reality is far more malleable than they'd been taught. In the end, Blavatsky's prophecy proves to be more than a dire warning. It becomes a catalyst for collective introspection. People realize that knowledge, once freed, can neither be suppressed nor contained. The manuscript's final line reverberates across the digital and physical realms. If the truth is forbidden, will you have the courage to seek it? And there you have it, an awakening thousands of years in the making. The forbidden prophecies no longer lurk in hidden archives. They live in every mind willing to question, to push beyond the accepted narrative, and to demand intellectual liberty. As we stand at the threshold of this new era, one question remains for each of us. Will we embrace the unvarnished truth, no matter how uncomfortable, or will we retreat behind the comforting veil of collective illusion? Now it's your turn. If you believe in the power of unfiltered knowledge, like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into suppressed histories, and comment below. Are you ready to seek the forbidden truth?